Hello and welcome back to episode 40 of Life is a Game. Today I'm joined by my gorgeous girlfriend, Aoife Murphy. Do you want to introduce yourself?
Yes, I am a breathwork and energetics practitioner, originally from West Cork and living in Sydney. And last week I decided to go all into my business.
So exciting. Full-time business owner officially. We
Yes.
love to see it. And I feel like me and Aoife in our relationship, we definitely bring two very different energies to the table, which has been so nice. Do you want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, it's definitely very much yin and yang. I feel like I operate more from the feminine and you operate more from that masculine. And it's been such a beautiful blend together, both in personal life and both in business. And I really feel like that from like a personal point of view as well. Like so much in my own personal life. Like I just feel so backed by you, and like to see how driven you are. Just even like whatever, a few weeks ago, you just being like, yeah, I'm going to do a half marathon, I'm going to do it. And like just putting your mind to it. And it's really giving me that little push that sometimes like, just fucking go for it. Like just do it. And I think it really shows in my business as well. I probably wouldn't have taken this leap without your backing, without your strategy, and without that kind of driven mentality that you have as well.
I love that. I love that. And for those of you who don't know me and Aoife, we're actually co-hosting our first retreat together in Bali this September, which we are buzzing. Like it's literally both of our dreams we were brought to real life, which is just so exciting. Yeah. But I feel like it really brings those two energies together to be able to like help business owners really unlock that next level that they want, or as Aoife would say, like become more magnetic to their goals.
Yes.
I mean, Aoife, we talk about the same concepts, we use very different words and language, but it all means the same thing.
I think it kind of represents that yin and yang as well, though. Like even when we're trying to talk, you're like, that word just doesn't make sense, and I'm like, no, it does, and you say another word that is the exact same thing. It just doesn't resonate as much with you because we speak differently and we resonate differently with things. But I think
bringing both our energies together to like host this retreat is going to be so powerful to really bring business owners to that next level. But do you want to talk a little bit about what's included? Just tell everyone a little bit about the retreat itself.
Yes, so the retreat is here in Bali, and Bali is like a magical place for both of us. Like we've both experienced Bali and like our own personal journeys in a very different way. Mine more so for the healing aspect, and yours I think for like that growth in your business and really kind of taking that first plunge into setting up your business. But yeah, so Bali is the place where we're going to host it, and we are taking 10 driven entrepreneurs together.
Well, 8 now, 8 spaces left.
Yeah. And I think as well, like that whole thing of like having connection, like to people who are in that space, who are trying to grow their business, but also trying to really embody like who they are and like show that through their business as well. And being able to be surrounded by that and supported by that, it's made such a difference in my journey. Like I know in the last 12 months, I would not be where I am without the people that surrounded me in the last year. Like I would have given up way back then.
Really, it's just a place for people to actually meet lifelong deep connections and make those like actually network with other people with similar mindsets, similar goals and similar visions, which is just, again,
environment is everything.
For me, it's definitely been a game changer as well. Like coming to Bali and actually just seeing other people with big dreams and big goals, like it really just gave me that drive and motivation to take myself to the next level and show me if they're doing it, I can do it too, you know?
Yeah, and I think sometimes as well, when you need that backing, when you have those like self-doubt, when that fear creeps in, a lot of people who may not be in that space or may not have goals in business, which is totally fine, but like I suppose they don't even know how to encourage you, how like what to say and how to help you, how to be supportive. So being surrounded by those people who get you, who know those struggles and who are like, you know what, girl, you can do it, keep going. And I think that has made such a difference. So being surrounded by those people and like meeting people that are like-minded is such an incredible aspect of the retreat, and it's something that we really value as well, that sense of community. And
definitely. And I even said at the beginning, like business owner, but you want to tell everyone exactly what you do in terms of business?
Yeah, so I offer holistic modalities. So I work with Kundalini energy, I work with Reiki, breathwork, somatic therapy, a blend of modalities. And I've kind of like over time just blended it into something that is my own energetic signature. So I suppose still using these modalities, but in a way that I suppose I resonate with, that I align with. And that's how I've started to kind of shift my healings as well. So it's that deeper inner healing, working with the subconscious mind and really allowing yourself to delve that bit deeper, the things that are driving our behavior that we don't know at a cognitive level, like being able to rewire those limiting beliefs, being able to like shed what no longer serves us, and be able to truly feel that power and fire in our belly that you can step into.
And we'll say even for business owners, like how would practicing or how would come into these kind of sessions and like practicing breath work, practicing like energetics, how would that improve their lives?
Yeah, well, when it comes to personal life, or when it even comes to like business, your business is driven and it's created from your personal, your values, from how you move through this world, how you perceive this world. So your business is a reflection of that. And I suppose what our external environment is a reflection of our inner world. So doing that deeper inner work as a business owner is just as important as any other aspect. You don't have to experience an acute traumatic experience to be like, oh, I must delve a little deeper. Like whatever is underneath that surface, whatever is embedded in that subconscious, that is driving your behavior. It's what's creating your business. It's what's creating the connections that you surround yourself with, the environments that you put yourself in, the worth that you have, the belief systems that you have. It drives everything. So it's so important to be able to just value that as well. Value yourself, choose you, and start to pour back into yourself.
Definitely. I think even a real life example of how like I would have faced something that I needed to work through with these kind of modalities was like maybe 2 years ago when I hit my first like big cash month. Like I hit it and then I started to self-sabotage because it was so unfamiliar. It was so much more money than I was ever used to like holding that I started to like spend it all and get rid of it. And obviously I had so much limiting beliefs that were subconsciously embedded in my mind there that had to be worked through. And then through practices like breath work, like energetics, I was able to get to the root of where that was coming from to then not self-sabotage when I made my next big cash month. So even just stuff like that in business, it can really help just like overcome any limiting beliefs or any like around like we'll say money, around business, around like anything got to do with that, to like really increase your capacity to hold the goals that you have set for yourself. Because again, we need to kind of level up ourselves to be able to hold bigger and bigger goals as we grow as well.
And a lot of times I think people think, oh, like your money block, or, you know, it's like a buzzword. It's like, oh, your money block. But it's like that actually ripples out to other aspects of your life. Like, is it your worth of like, you're not worthy enough to receive? Does that ripple out to the connections that you're surrounded with? But you don't even take any notice. But I suppose they're the buzzwords. They're the people things that people connect with. But really underneath the surface, there's something deeper that's driving that behavior, that's driving that belief. So it's really about getting to that root cause and being able to like rewire that, shift that, and like move through that, because ultimately what we know at a conscious level, what we can talk about like right here, right now, and bring our awareness to, that's not what's driving your behavior. There's something under there that you can't really put words to, or you don't know at a conscious level, that drives that behavior.
Yeah, and as you said earlier, like something that stuck was like your external world is a complete reflection of your internal world.
Yeah, your behavior creates your reality.
Definitely. And as a business owner, like you very much are your business. So you have to really like level up to match that in a sense as well, like match that like identity that you want to be and want the business you want to create in that regard. But I love this analogy I heard in a podcast. I think I was explaining it to you a while ago. But it's like even when we get triggered in the day-to-day lives, like what's inside will come out. And someone used the analogy before, I heard basically if you squeeze an orange, what's going to come out of the orange is orange juice. And if you squeeze like an apple, what's going to come out of the apple is apple juice. So when someone like squeezes us, we'll say in the sense of being triggered, what's going to come out is like what's inside of us. It's that work that we haven't done in ourselves. And that's what's going to ripple out in terms of our reaction, our response, whether we start shouting and getting really angry and mad, or the way we just approach it in a calm way and just like kind of breathe and then just like react actually in a way that aligns with us.
And I think it's hard because sometimes we don't even know that our reaction is a trigger. So it's a journey as well, being able to like identify like what is your behavior, what is a reaction, what is a trigger. And like if we don't have awareness of that, it's very hard to like catch ourselves, like you're saying, to be like, okay, let's be responsive. And it does take those moments of like stillness, those moments where you are doing that deeper work to like have just like quieten the noise, like what's actually going on inside. There's so many external pressures that we're surrounded by that it's just so hard to even know what do we want, what's actually going on in my life.
Definitely, 100%. And even like throughout your journey, like what's your why behind like why did you start to get into all of this, and like even like what has it helped you overcome throughout your journey?
Yeah, so like I've always been interested in working with people and like kind of journeying with people, and for like the last 7 to 8 years I've worked in like homeless services and domestic violence, and the holistic side of things kind of came in through my own personal experience, and it was like where I found myself in like a really dark place and just felt like really stuck, lost my sense of self, was in like an unhealthy relationship and just completely abandoned myself and my own needs, and life felt very dull. It was like almost like someone put sunglasses on me and everything was in black and white, and I just felt like numb to everything, and I didn't actually know if it was going to be any better, like how it was going to get better. And those modalities were the things that like just flipped something in my brain that went, no, actually you can actually get through this, and things are going to change, and this is all temporary, and you're going to be able to work through it. And to think that I'm here now in Bali, surrounded with my best friends, living in a villa, working online, it's just insane. And I remember scripting, I think it was like maybe 2 years ago. I remember scripting, I was in a...
And when you say scripting, just for those that don't know what scripting is, can you just explain what that means? Because this is like such a big thing that we both do.
Yeah, but like just scripting like a day in the life, like what my day looked like in, I think it was like 12 months time. And this was probably like 2 years ago. And it was actually held by a practitioner in Sydney, and I had just I attended the event. And I remember her saying, she was like, just dream as big as you can. And you know, you're just so embarrassed. You're like scared for yourself to be like, can I put this on paper? And even though no one else was going to see it, but I was like, no, you're actually going to put it on paper. Like, what are your biggest, wildest dreams? And like, retreat was definitely one of them. And I actually think living in Bali and working in line was so big that I didn't even put it down. But even putting a retreat down felt like so big. And this year alone, like, I'm doing 2 retreats, doing a retreat with you, doing a retreat with Lana, which is just insane to think, like, you limit yourself so much when you put a cap on what your goals are, what your dreams are, or like what you're capable of doing. Like, it really is first like doing that inner work, working through those blocks, then being able to build the capacity to hold all of those dreams, all of those desires, because they are possible.
Definitely. Like, every single thing that you want in the entire world is possible without any sort of limits. And even you're ahead of most people by just literally having the balls to actually write down what you want and write down your goals. Like, even
I don't know if it's an Irish thing that you're just so scarlet to be like, I want to do better. I want a better life for myself. It's like, you can't. It's like, you have to be like,
100%. And even what you were saying there as well, linking on to that, I feel like just taking action before you feel ready as well, because a lot of people will go in with the mentality of like, I have to overcome all my limiting beliefs, I have to do all this work on myself and get these courses and do X, Y, Z before I actually start. But I think something you said the other day by the pool that like stuck with me and Tara was,
reps in your reality.
Yeah. So it's like, you're never going to get good at something or never going to get better at something without actually just like taking action. And even imperfect action, even if it's not good at the start, even if you're faced with loads of limiting beliefs and you have loads of fear and you have loads of stuff to overcome, it's about not waiting to do all that before you start, but starting and working through it as you're going along your journey. I feel that's so important.
And I think the more times you push yourself outside of your comfort zone and do those things, like, the more times that you have that tangible experience to be like, I've done it before, I can do it again. And like, I always pick one thing that like just resonates with me, that's so, not small, but like when I was learning how to drive, I did, I think 22, I think it was like something like 22 lessons, I can say. I think I booked 6 driving tests. I didn't sit 2 of them. So
new information, I didn't know this.
But
and you're the better driver, are you?
I always mock I'm a better driver. But I am a good driver. It was just
kept that one quiet.
But anyway, I remember being like, if I get, I said this thing to myself when I was going through it. I was like, if I get my driving test, or if I get my license, my full license, I was like, I'm never allowed to tell myself that something's impossible again, because it felt so impossible. Like, I had lessons coming out my arse, and I was like, I can't, they're going to tell me I can't book any more tests here. But like, I was like, if I get it, which now I have my license, and I'm like, everything feels so hard, it feels so icky, it feels so uncomfortable, because it's your first time doing it, and it's like, it is possible. I think the limitations that we put on ourselves are the things that keep us stuck. It's us keeping us stuck. It's not the people around us.
And I think even that's like such a misconception people have about like confidence or people who are good at things. Like, no one is just born confident or born being able to stand on a stage and speak to people or host a podcast or all these things. But it comes from stacking that evidence. And the evidence doesn't even have to be related to the topic. It's just evidence that you can do something. And the more and more blocks you stack in favor of the fact that I can do something, or I can like do something I thought was never possible, the more confidence it gives you to do anything in life as well, which is like so powerful within itself. I know you mentioned at the start that Bali was such a big part of your journey. Do you want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, so I came to Bali, I think like 3.5 years ago, and it was for my first modality that I trained in. It was like a women's health and yoga. And at the time, it wasn't even the training that I was going for. I was just in a shitty place in life and needed just a pause from reality is what I actually needed. But I think, again, the Irish mentality, I mean, said, I can't tell someone I'm going eat, love, pray over in Bali. So I need to have a reason to go to Bali. So it was the training. But again, I think like that, it's like divine time, and everything kind of does happen for a reason. And even though I don't practice yoga or offer yoga as a practice, I still like practice yoga myself and stuff, and it helps me connect to my body. I think it was just a stepping stone into where I've landed as well.
Definitely.
It was actually where I first heard of Kundalini energy. Like, I heard it in the mythology, and like, without that, I probably wouldn't have been so drawn to the energy, because then I kind of went looking for it when I went back to Ireland. And like, now I train in it and I offer sessions to people, you know, in person and online, which is incredible.
It's like the butterfly effect as well. If you hadn't made that one decision to go to Bali that time, you would not be anywhere close to where you are right now in life.
And Bali offered offered that space where I could reconnect with myself. It offered me space to go within, and often, I know you feel the same as well, Bali often reflects things back at you, like a mirror.
Like, Bali energy is just magic. Like, you come to Bali, I think, especially when you're coming here for a long period of time, it's a little bit different when you're coming on holidays. But because you have so much time and space, I think, to like be and like learn about yourself, like it really just comes to surface anything within you that you need to work on, and it can be hard sometimes, but it just makes you so much of a better person when you actually do the work and work through it.
And it is such a sacred energy. Like anytime I land in Bali, I'm just like, oh, like it's just so special. Like the Balinese, they're just beautiful beings, like their culture, and it's Bali is a special place, and it's offered me a lot of healing. And every time I've come back to Bali, I've been in a very different stage of my journey. I think it's either like my 5th or 6th time being back in Bali, but like every time has been so different, and it's offered something different to me as well. And I'm excited for this one. I think this one's going to be expansive.
The best one, yeah.
Yeah, which it's wild to think like 3.5 years ago, I was here, lost girl who, like, I even look so different. I fucking peroxide blonde hair, and yeah, like I just, even when I look at pictures, I'm like, I just felt so sad for her. Like she had no worth, like no boundaries, like just so lost, and had no kind of sense of self, and no, like, I'm not going to say like no hope. There was hope, but like, again, it was just so clouded. Like it was really hard. So now to see that I'm here, like after like taking a massive leap, a massive decision, backing myself fully in it, and it's just in such a different place, and it's like, it actually feels like two worlds. I'm like, whoa.
If you could go back and tell her 3 pieces of advice or 3 small things to like just like help her along her journey a bit faster, or like get her here, like what would you tell her?
I think like the first one would be like, everything will be okay. Like it's gonna work out. And I know like that's the one when someone says that to you, you're like, shut up, like that is. But like everything will be okay. And I think like secondly, everything is temporary. Like we have the opportunity to choose, you know, and change every single moment of the day. And I think at the start that can feel really hard, because it's like our energy feels so dense. We feel so dense. It's like, what, like, no, like I don't want to. It's almost like we don't want to change. It's like that self-sabotage. But I think it's like also just being compassionate with yourself when you're sitting in it, being like, it's temporary, it's going to pass. Like the uncertainty of not knowing when it's going to pass is often the like hardest thing to sit with, and we're not taught how to sit with that. But I think it's like just reminding yourself that this is going to change someday, and it will be okay. Yeah.
I love that. And I think that's such a powerful one, that everything's temporary, because even myself, when you hit like peaks and troughs, and in those troughs, when you feel like everything, you feel a little bit lower energy, even if it's just a day, sometimes your brain can just trick you into thinking it's going to last forever. And it's like, you're never going to feel the same again, or you're never going to come out of it. So I feel like even on the longer term, when you hit even places in your life and like dips in your life where it goes on for like a week or a couple of days, like just knowing that it will pass and it is temporary, and you will go back to like the same happy self that you were in that sense.
And I think the third thing would be to be open to the support. I think often when you're in that headspace where everything feels like a little too much or overwhelming, or almost like you're a burden to somebody because like your worth is on the ground and your energy just feels so heavy, I think it's like the people that are in your life, they want to help you, and you would do the exact same thing for them. So like, you know, be open to that support, and be mindful that when like the way you treat your friends is how you should be treating yourself. Like I think that is like really important as well, because I think definitely when I was in that I didn't want to show people. I would give them like little dribs and drabs of how I was feeling, and like kind of take support here and there. But like even when I was in my worst, no one knew what was actually going on. Like no one knew the extent of it. I remember one friend, because I think I told her when I was drunk, you know, like it was, you know, and that it came with like a vulnerability hangover that I was like, oh my God, you know. But it's like the people that are around you, they want to support you, and you would do it for them.
100%. And even like, we'll say even throughout the last few, and even tell me a little bit about that. Like I know you mentioned being drunk, but like how has your relationship with alcohol shifted over the last, we'll say, decade of your life?
Yeah, like it has shifted a lot, and I think as it's natural, as you grow and evolve, your values are going to change. The way you move and carry yourself through this world also changes. And the more you tend to those wounds, those wounded parts of you, the more we are not going to be just like coming from a place of like unconscious, like, and just being like, oh, this is just how I feel. This is what just helps me. It's like bringing awareness to it, actually doing the work, changing things. And like, I now value myself.
And circling back to the biggest thing that you've mentioned at the beginning, obviously leaving your job, talk me through like that, and even just like how that feels for you at the minute.
Yeah, it just feels like the right time. Like, I think even at the start of the year, like Alana, my friend, would always be like, you'll be working for yourself. And I was like, no, I don't think so. Like, it didn't land in my body. It didn't feel right in my body. I was like, no, I think I'll always be, you know, working part-time. And I think a part of that was driving that behavior was like a limitation that I was putting on myself, that I wasn't capable of working full-time for myself, that I wasn't like smart enough to step into this space and to actually be a business owner and like back myself fully. And then it just, I suppose the more that the more work you do in yourself, like we're constantly peeling back layers, we're constantly evolving. And the more I built the capacity to hold that, to be like, no, I'm okay with being seen. I'm okay with being heard. And like, you know, I am smart enough to do this, and the people that will resonate with my work will come my way. And I think it's like having that growth as well has led me to the point where it actually feels like the right time. Like something just came over my body. Like I'm very much, I keep referencing body, but I very much lead in my body. Like sometimes Emma's like, what do you mean? I'm like, no, I just feel it. And he's like, what do you mean you feel it? I was like, I just feel it in my body. I know what it means.
But it's powerful to be that connected to your body, to like really know like in your body when something feels right, when something feels wrong. And I think that in itself is like such a powerful like trait.
It supports me as well, because like even now when I've made that jump, like I don't doubt it. Like now I've like, my connection to like my intuition and that like gut feeling that people with like that feeling in my body, that inner knowing, like it is so strong now that when I get it, I'm just like, yeah, I'm leading with that. Like it doesn't have to make sense to me. And like I didn't match my salary. It wasn't like I hated my job or anything. I actually did love the people I was working with. But for me, it was like something in me just went, no, it's the time. And I went, right, okay, I have to do it.
And now it's just kind of all spiraling and avalanche effect from there as well, which is so powerful. But when you say like feel it in your body and feel it in your gut, we'll say someone who wants to become more connected to that and wants to start kind of like leaning into more of decisions that like feel right for them in their body. Like how do you develop that? Like how do you develop that like connection?
It's true, like that inner work. Like a lot of times it's about creating safety in the body to be able to go in, because, you know, you might have like a protective mechanism where it's like dissociation, where it's like it's not safe enough to go into the body. So feeling the body is not even in the question. Like you can't do that. And I think it's just over time being able to like connect with what it feels like in your body. Like I think I'd been doing it for years before I knew I was doing it, which is why when it started to make sense, I was like, oh my God, this is actually a thing and I can work with my body here. But I think it takes time of like really deepening that connection to yourself, really quietening that noise external. Like we're just so conditioned by like our environments and like when we're growing up that it's hard to like peel back those layers. Like it's not an easy job, and sometimes it will come with that contraction, but that expansion and like where we're sitting right now, like that expansion, we can be like, yeah, it's worth it.
100%. And I think even just like the simple practice of like taking 10-15 minutes in the morning to meditate and to just give yourself a little bit of time to journal your thoughts, I think that can bring a lot of clarity, because even as you said, we're conditioned to be go, like wake up in the morning. And even some people treat their morning routine as like another thing to tick off the list, and it's like busyness, one thing to another. And they don't ever give themselves that like space and time to just like let thoughts come to surface, like let like what's right kind of like unfold from like their mind and stuff like that as well.
Yeah, and
so I think
sorry, no go.
Yeah, I think you're even giving yourself that like 10-15 minutes in the morning to like do a meditation practice, do a breathwork practice, do a little bit of journaling.
Make it individual is what I would say as well. Like you don't have to do what other people are doing. I think that's another thing, is like you can fall into the trap of doing something that doesn't work for you. It doesn't resonate with you. Like even someone yesterday I was working with, and she was saying that like she finds it really hard to meditate. And of course, like where she is at the moment, it will be impossible. And meditation is hard, again, reps in your reality. But as in where she is in her journey right now, that will be a really hard thing to do. So it's like looking at, okay, well, maybe it's like yoga, because that's like more of an active, mindful practice that kind of is that in between where you can concentrate on your movements, go into your body, but yet it's not as like intense as like just sitting there and being with your thoughts or being with that visualization, because that can feel really hard, and then that just puts you off if you can't do something 100%. And it's too far-fetched. It's like building the capacity as well to kind of hold that.
Definitely. And even me, like if you told me a year ago like I'll be meditating, I used to think I could never meditate. My mind was always so busy, like my mind, there's something going on there 24/7, like I'm busy thinking, and I used to never be able to meditate. But then I just like started doing it like gradually, doing a little bit more as well, and I was working with someone to like help me like meditate as well in like a different, it's like hypnotherapy, so it's like a meditation practice, and that just really helped me like learn how to actually switch off my mind, which has been so powerful even in my business journey and business growth as well, because it just allows you that space to actually like let ideas come in, like let downloads come in, and also just let what's right and what's wrong kind of like feel like land in your body almost in a sense as well, which has been like really
and
good.
It's so interesting because any of your, like we were just talking about this like a while back, but any of your like viral content videos, they've all been downloads.
Yeah,
like,
more or less.
More or less. Like there's strategy behind it, but the theme or the context in which you're putting into like the content that you're putting out there was like a download with the strategy then to back it.
Definitely. I think even over the last few years as well, how I operate my business, like I used to be very much like work harder, like grind, more reps, more videos. And yes, you definitely need to put in the reps, you need to put in the volume. But I think even operating from that place of like, you don't actually have to work harder sometimes, you just have to work a bit smarter and just allow yourself to sometimes slow down and come up with ideas. And yes, you do, as I said, you definitely do need the reps as well, but just allow allow yourself that little bit of space and time to actually allow your brain to have like just that space to breathe and space to think. Creativity, yeah, because that's where like the real good ideas will always come from, rather than just being like busy, go, like more. If you just allow yourself like even just like 15 minutes, as I said, even in the morning, to breathe and journal, that's where like the viral content ideas come from, I feel, in my experience, for sure. And like even through your own journey, like, do you like vibe with like morning routines, or is that something you incorporate into your life right now, or have you ever?
No, I think morning routines are really powerful, and I think it really sets the intention for the day. And I definitely notice a difference if there's a morning, like the other morning where I messed up my calendar and my morning started more earlier than I thought, and like I'd noticed the difference. By lunchtime I was a bit more highly strung than I normally would have been, and like that just has a knock-on effect for the rest of your day. And I think it's so important to like pour into yourself before you like even open yourself up to the rest of the world. Like and I'm the same, like I have to put like such strong boundaries into be like, do not open your phone first thing in the morning, like give back to yourself, and then you can open yourself up to the rest of the world. But I think it's important to definitely set some time in the morning to yourself. And
100%. And even for you, like over the last, we'll say 3-4 years of your journey, like what's one piece of advice that you would just like carry with you?
I think, and I always say this one, but like access to your energy is a privilege, and I think it's a reflection of kind of what I was journeying through in my own personal experience. But like access to your energy is a privilege, and not everyone has the privilege of accessing it. So like be really mindful who you surround yourself with, who you open yourself up to. Like you don't just have to abandon your own needs, like have those boundaries in place. Like you need to really just respect yourself as well in that, and like remind yourself that it is a privilege to be around you and to have access to your energy.
Definitely. And even expanding on that, I feel like the saying, like you're the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with, is just like, it could not be more true. And I feel like the more I've grown and like the different groups I've been in, it's like even when I'm around like, let's say you and Lana Tara in this villa now, like even we've only been there 2 days and I already feel like the ideas pouring into my mind, and the inspiration and the motivation. I think it's really important to surround yourself with people who you want to be like. If their values align with your values, like their goals are similar to almost like your goals. Obviously you have different friends for different reasons, but I think to get like far in life, that is the one key element that's really helped with my journey, is just like be so cautious of who you surround yourself with, because ultimately that's who you're going to become in that sense as well. And if there's one thing you can leave everyone with today, what would it be?
I think what's really relevant for me at the moment is enjoy the process of becoming, because we get so fixated on what is next, and the goalpost is going to continuously move. It is. We are just primed as human beings to continuously look into the future and strive and have those big goals, which is amazing. But I think it's also so important to be like, enjoy the process, like be where your feet are. And like I said there a while ago, 3.5 years ago, if I would have told that little girl, like, you're going to be in Bali, you're going to have left your job, you're going to be working full time for yourself, you're going to be living in a villa with your friends, like I would have been like, what? So I think it's like, also just be really proud of your journey and be where your feet are, like enjoy those moments, because the thing is, once you hit that milestone, it's going to feel like, oh, I'm here. So it's like, it's that journey to becoming. They're magical pieces that sometimes we can just overlook.
I completely agree, and that's definitely so powerful for everyone. I love that. Thank you so much for coming on. It's been such a good episode. If you enjoyed, please like, subscribe, and rate it 5 stars, and we'll be back next week with another banger. Thank you so much.